Long before Marco Polo, there were the merchant nomads from Central Asia. They ruled the Silk Road trade for centuries. From China to Persia, they carried silk, spices, precious stones, and ideas. Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, even music spread thanks to them. Yet today they're almost forgotten. The Sogdians weren't just traders, they were the connectors of civilizations. Next time you hear about the Silk Road, remember the real masters behind it. Now, we don't know exactly when the Sogdian people started traveling the Silk Road, but historians believe it was sometime around the 2nd century BCE. That's when the Chinese began working with a group of horse traders from the western regions, which is what Europeans called Central Asia back in the day. These horse traders needed something from the Chinese, but in return they had something the Chinese wanted: horses. See, the nomadic Sogdians lived in Central Asia. To get to China, they had to go through rugged mountains and treacherous deserts. But they were great horsemen, and they needed to be because their survival depended on it. The Sogdians also had a big advantage over other merchants. They didn't have to pay taxes to the Chinese or the Persians because they were, quote, guests of the empire. This meant they could make more profit and undercut other merchants. No wonder they became the middlemen of the Silk Road. The Sogdians would travel light years across Central Asia, bringing goods to places like Samarkand and Kashgar. Once there, they would trade their goods for silk and spices and precious stones and ideas. I mean, the Sogdians weren't just traders, they were cultural brokers. They helped spread Buddhism from India to China. They introduced Zoroastrianism to Central Asia. And some historians even say that a Sogdian merchant named Mani created a new religion called Christianity. He combined Sogdian customs with teachings from the Middle East and Central Asia, and then got the Pope to make him a bishop. His followers became known as and even though it's not a major world religion, some scholars say it influenced the development of Islam. Music also traveled along the Silk Road, with the Sogdians playing a big role. One famous Sogdian musician named Darvish Khan traveled all over the Middle East and Europe performing on the dutar, a Central Asian instrument similar to the lute. In fact, some scholars believe that the dutar may have been the instrument that Marco Polo brought back to Europe, the very same Marco Polo who inspired this entire series. But after the 15th century, the Silk Road started to fall apart. Trade shifted to the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf, and eventually the Atlantic. By the 18th century, most of the Sogdians were gone. They either assimilated into other cultures or died of disease, or worse, were wiped out by invading armies. Today, some historians say there are less than 10,000 Sogdians left in the world. So why should you care about the Sogdians? Why should you care about any of these forgotten influences? Because they changed the world. They spread ideas and innovations that helped connect the planet. So next time you hear about the Silk Road, remember the Sogdians, the masters of the Silk Road. It's also important to remember all the other people who connected the world before the modern era, the ones we've forgotten, like the Nubian merchants of the ancient world or the Viking explorers who sailed to the Americas 500 years before Columbus. History's hidden influences deserve the spotlight.